Whether the team is giving us the highest of highs, the bluest of blues, we'll cover it all here on Commanders Nightly News. I, of course, am your host, Louie T. Thank you for joining me. Let's get to tonight's lead story. Big game coming up. Thursday Night Football, Week 2. Green Bay Packers, Washington Commanders. First road test of the 2025 season for our Commanders. It's a big one. Haven't won in Lambeau Field since 1986. This is a big matchup for all the reasons we've talked about. This could have massive playoff ramifications, seeding, etc., home field advantage down the line. Don't know if any of that is going to come to fruition. Don't want to leave it to chance, however. We know the Packers are going to be there more likely than not when it's all said and done. When you look at their roster, how they're built, who their quarterback is, who their head coach is, and how that roster is set up. And looking at their division, we're not sure what Minnesota's going to be. Not sure about what Chicago's going to be after seeing that Monday night game, to be honest with you. Doesn't seem like Chicago's going to be all that great, but we'll see. And the Lions may be taking a step back. Who knows? They may be the cream of the crop of that division, maybe the Green Bay Packers. A lot of people don't expect us to win this game. We're going to talk about the Green Bay Packers, what they bring to the table, why this is an interesting matchup, to say the least, and why the Commanders have a great opportunity to go in there, make a statement in front of the entire nation, go to 2-0, and set themselves up to be one of the big players in the NFC. But before we do any of that, I just want to talk about the stage itself. Thursday Night Football, Lambeau Field, the whole nation's watching, first Thursday night game of the season. These are the type of environments that our guys get up for. Our guys are built for this stage. The lights are bright, the stage is big, and they don't get fright. We saw our players in these type of environments last year, and we saw how they thrived. They didn't just survive in these moments. They thrived in them. You think about all of the primetime, games and stages that we were on last year. The first one was Week 3. You know what Jaden did in that game. You know what Terry did in that game. Those two showed up and showed out. You know what Austin Eckler, before the injury, did in that game. A star was born that night, and he never looked back. You go to the Atlanta game. Week 17, you win and you're in. Gotta have it. Once again, when his best was required, Jaden showed up and showed out. Zach Ertz, who's been massive for this team over the last year, showed up as well. Big catch in the biggest moment of the game. God bless and good night. Commanders are going to the postseason. Wild card weekend, Saturday night, big stage. Everybody's watching. We're on the road. A team that trounced us the first time around. We went back into their house and rectified a wrong. Big stage, big plays were made by our best players that night. Whether it's Bobby Wagner recovering a fumble, whether it's Terry McLaurin making that 4th down catch, whether it's Jaden on 3rd and 2 making a guy miss and getting the 1st down to preserve the victory or put us in a position to get the walk-off victory. Austin Eckler, big catch and run late in that game to help set it up. Guys stepped up. The stage wasn't too big. It never is. The next week, Saturday night, once again, everyone's watching. Number 1 seed, Detroit Lions, best record in the entire National Football League. Big task. No problem. Commanders go in there. Jaden plays some of his best football of the season. Terry McLaurin goes bananas. Big touchdown catch and run. big fourth down conversion. Zach Ertz, another touchdown. Hell, even De'Ami Brown, who's no longer here, chipped in as well. Eckler got back on his grind. Another team effort. Quan Martin picked 6. Mikey Sainristil 2 picks in the game. Our guys don't shy away from these moments. No, we haven't won every primetime game. You're not going to. Yep, they lost in Thursday Night Football last year, Week 11, to the Philadelphia Eagles. Yep. We didn't win in the NFC Championship game. Wasn't quite the same stage in terms of, timing of night, day, etc. But it can't get much bigger than that. You're playing for a chance to go to the Super Bowl. But the guys that we expect to play well played well in that NFC Championship game. If you think about it, Jaden played well. Everyone will tell you who's not a Commanders fan, who didn't watch the game intently, will tell you that Jaden didn't have a good game. I beg to differ. Was he his best? No. But he wasn't allowed to be at his best because he wasn't protected. And for the situation being what it was and the circumstances being what they were, I thought he played extremely well. Terry, another touchdown, had a touchdown in every single game in the postseason last year. Zach Ertz put up the most catches and yards he had all season in that NFC Championship game. Our guys aren't afraid of the moment. They were built for this stage. So when we see this opportunity present itself, week 2, underdogs, 3.5-point underdogs on the road in an environment that we haven't won in since the mid-'80s. 86 was a very good year, by the way. I'm looking at the fellas and I'm saying, are y'all ready to not only go on this big stage, bright lights, but are y'all ready to go put on a show or what? And the confidence that they've instilled in me as a fan, I already know they're ready to do exactly that. This is what Jaden Daniels was built for. This is what Terry McLaurin is built for. This is what Zach Ertz is built for. This is what this defense potentially might be built for. We're going to see. This is the biggest test they've had this season, obviously. We're going to find out a lot about this defense tomorrow night. You're going to find out a lot about this team tomorrow night. But the individual stars on this team, the guys that we rely on, I got no doubts they'll be ready. And those lights and that stage won't be too big and it won't be too bright. When those cameras start rolling and they kick that football off at 8:15 tomorrow night, I got supreme confidence that our fellas will be ready to rock and roll. And when it's all said and done and the dust settles and the smoke clears, the Washington Commanders will be 2-0. And everyone will be talking about how dangerous of a team the Commanders truly are in 2025. Get ready, y'all. I keep telling you guys, this is our new existence. No more being nervous going into these games about will the team play well or will they, show up or will they be disappointing and embarrass us? Those days are gone. Those days are gone. Now the question is, will we play up to our standard? Will we play up to the level that we know this team is capable of? Here's what I'll tell you, and then we'll move on. You think about every single loss that the Commanders have had since the combination of Adam Peters, Dan Quinn, and Jaden Daniels have shown up on the scene. You think about every single one of them. And sans for week 1, their very first outing together against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Think about how they lost those games. None of them were in blowout fashion, except for the NFC Championship game. But I'm going to get to that in a second. None of them were in blowout fashion. All of them were close. But more importantly, all of them featured some sort of self-destruction on our part. I can live with the loss when we just don't get it done against a team that's of equal or greater value. We don't turn the ball over. They just were better, right? Some penalties are going to happen. There's going to be you hope there's no drop passes, but a drop here, a drop there, those happen, right? It's just a part of the game. What doesn't have to be a part of the game are turnovers, mental mistakes, right? Things that prohibit you from being at your best. Sometimes the other team is just better. And sometimes you just got to tip your cap and say, hey, you know what? They were better than us today. We'll get them next time. When we lose, generally, it's because we beat ourselves or we heavily contributed to the outcome of the game being in the opponent's favor. Think about all of those games that I'm referring to. Think about the Pittsburgh game. Think about the Dallas game. Think about the first Eagles game. Think about the third Eagles game, the NFC Championship game. That's 4 out of the 6 losses we had last year. The only 2 I didn't mention were the Baltimore game, which I just thought they just were better than us. We didn't turn the ball over. We didn't do anything ridiculous in that game. We missed some field goals. We missed some opportunities to put some points on the board. That doesn't help. But they were just better than us. I can respect that. I tip my cap and just say, hey, they were better than us today. And then the week 1 game against Tampa, where we were green. We were wet behind the ears. Our breath smelled like Similac that day. We didn't know what we didn't know. But if you look at what we've accomplished, what this team has done, and how they've performed, when they don't beat themselves, they're a hard outfit to beat. So I say, if we don't turn it over tomorrow night, whether we force turnovers or not, we know that's not our thing, right? But whether we force them or not is of no consequence as long as we don't give it away. We force turnovers, look out. We've been saying that for the last year. If we could just find a way to generate turnovers. We saw what happened in the Detroit game last year. You force turnovers, we're going to score some points. But we can't guarantee that that's going to happen. You saw what happened in the Tennessee game. You force turnovers, we're going to score points. You saw what happened in the Carolina game. You force turnovers, we're going to score points. The Cleveland game, I can keep going. Problem is, we just don't generate them often enough. But if we take care of the football, boy, we're a dangerous team and one that is extremely hard to beat. We'll see if they can take care of the football. Produce a turnover or 2 would be nice. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. But whatever the case may be, here's what I do know I can count on. May not be able to count on this team generating a takeaway or the ball actually being life. I don't know if I can actually count on that. Here's what I can count on. Tomorrow at 8:15 p.m. East Time in Green Bay, Wisconsin at Lambeau Field, when they kick that football off, Jaden Daniels, Terry McLaurin, Deebo Samuel, Zach Ertz, and the rest of those guys won't be scared. They'll be ready to put forth the best effort that they can to help this team achieve victory. We've seen them do it before, minus Deebo Samuel here in a Commander's uniform, but we know he's no stranger to playing in big spots and putting up massive totals and production. So when it's all said and done, this is a big spot. That's a good Packers football team. It's going to be a crazy environment. They're wearing their all-white uniforms, all-white helmets. It's a whiteout. They say winter's coming. They told their fans to wear white. It's going to be a crazy scene. Our guys aren't even going to flinch. It's the same thing they tried to do to us in the jungle last year when they had the light show. And remember, Candy came on the program and she said they thought that that was all for them. That was their attitude. Our guys don't flinch. They won't blink. They'll be ready. And if they play the kind of football that I know they're capable of, they'll be 2-0 by 11:15, 11:20 on Thursday night. Let's get to in other news. So we heard from our head coach, Dan Quinn, today. So we'll talk about what he had to say. It was a quick presser, just a little bit over 6 minutes long. He had to catch his flight along with the team to Lambeau, so didn't have a ton of time to chat it up with the media, but he did say a couple of interesting things. We'll discuss what was said. However, before we get to that, you know what we got to do. Final injury report of the week leading into the week 2 Thursday night contest versus the Packers. Let's take a look for both teams, starting with the good guys, as we always do. So nothing here necessarily sticks out. One thing does make me say, Dietrich Wise was a full participant all week. Now, again, this is the most erroneous injury report you will see all season, because you can't really take Monday and Tuesday, or even Wednesday for that matter, with, you have to take all of it with a grain of salt, because the week is so weird. You played a game on Sunday. Guys aren't fully healthy after a Sunday game, so they have to report everything. So you had more guys on the injury report than you would have had the original, normal week of practice had taken place on Wednesday. You wouldn't have had guys like John Bates and Jaden Daniels and Deron Payne more likely than not on the injury report. They would have been ready to go on Wednesday. However, because it was a Monday, you had guys, on the injury report, some guys out. Tress Way, he's interesting to keep an eye on. They signed a punter, Mitch Wisnowski, who was in San Francisco. Go figure that he was once a San Francisco 49er and ends up here. That makes sense, doesn't it? But Mitch Wisnowski was signed as a insurance policy of sorts. Like, DQ talked about it in his press conference. I'll tell you what he said, but ultimately they're being safe, and I'd rather be safe than sorry. Dietrich Wise is the one that is interesting because I didn't know that there was anything really here. He practiced full all week, and then all of a sudden he's limited on Wednesday and listed as questionable. That's something that I'm going to keep an eye on. He was so good. He was so good on Sunday afternoon. Here's what I will say about Dietrich Wise and anybody else dealing with anything. If we can just get through this game, it's a pseudo bye. Everybody that has any aches, any pains, guess what? And this is the beauty of having this Thursday night game this early in the season. It kind of breaks the season up. We don't have a bye week until week 12, I believe. So it breaks the season up. I think it's week 11, excuse me, if I'm not mistaken. It might be week 12. But it breaks the season up because these guys really haven't had a real break since training camp began in late July. So for all intents and purposes, this pseudo bye, if you can just get through this game with a win, oh my God, you get 11 days off before you play again. I mean, do you know what this could do for some of these guys that are dealing with a couple of nicks and bruises and things of that? Like a Dietrich Wise, who's dealing with a little bit of a knee right now, maybe even an Austin Eckler with the shoulder. Like, anybody dealing with anything, you don't have to win for it to feel good, but it feels so much better with the win, right? I don't have to tell you guys that. So everything else here looks to be in order. Noah Brown's going to be fine. Again, you see it's NRI, right? Which means non-injury related. He was just being rested on Wednesday when he didn't practice. Eckler limited all week. He's going to be fine. He's going to be going. And then Bates, Jaden Daniels, and Deron Payne, all 4 participants Wednesday. None of them were ever in question to begin with. It's really just been Tress Way, and now adding Dietrich Wise, it makes my antennas go up. But ultimately, I think everyone will be fine, and all of this will be a moot point, and we'll have a full staff of players ready to go on Thursday night, which is a good thing because we're going to need them. It's a big game, and that's a good Packers team we'll be facing. Speaking of the Green Bay Packers, let's look at the ops and their injury report. And boy, is this shit long as hell for week 2 or what? This is a laundry list of injuries for the Green Bay Packers. Now, much like our list, most of these guys are going to play. They already have ruled out, however, 2 of their players on this list. Brenton Cox Jr., defensive lineman, is going to be out, and so will Bo Melton. If you remember, Bo Melton used to be a wide receiver. Yeah, they just converted him to the cornerback position. He's going to be out of this game with a shoulder injury. So everyone else that you see here is probably going to play. Now, there are 2 guys here that you should keep a very watchful eye on who could potentially miss this game. Guard Aaron Banks, who hasn't practiced all week with an ankle and groin injury, is questionable. I think he's going to miss this game. Same could be said for their tackle, Zach Tom, who sustained an oblique injury. I told you I watched the Lions game and I saw the injury. They had to take a TV timeout to give him a chance to get himself together, to get up and walk off the field. He's questionable. We'll see if either one of those dudes play this week. I'm leaning towards neither one of those guys being in the lineup. That's going to be a big problem for them if they're missing one of their starting guards and tackles. With the way this line started the season off like gangbusters, that's advantage Commanders if those 2 can't go. If one of them can't go, specifically the tackle, advantage Commanders. More, the guard Aaron Banks, like if he can go, we're going to be fine anyway. But if he can't, even better, right? Even better. Everyone else that you see here is going to play for the most part. Micah Parsons, questionable. We know he's playing, right? Like Nate Hobbs, corner, he's going to play. I don't have, it's just the offensive linemen that I think have a chance to miss this game. So just keep an eye on those 2 in particular. They could have a big impact on this game if they're not in the lineup. So something to keep an eye on heading into the week 2 tilt versus the Packers. So let's talk about what DQ had to say at his press conference today. He started off by giving us the captains for the game coming up this Thursday night. And those captains are Zach Ertz on the offensive side of the football, Frankie Louvu on the defensive side of football, a guy that we're expecting to have a very loud game. He was extremely quiet in week 1. I think he's going to be loud in week number 2. And then special teams, after the hits he put out on the field on Sunday, Nick Bellore deserves to be one of the captains this week and the special teams captain in week number 2. So those are your 3 captains for this game. He then gave a update on Tress Way. He said that they are less concerned about Way now than they were the day previous. Remember, he said that he wanted to see how Tress Way kicked the football before they could, make a decision on what his status would be. He kicked the ball today, and they said they felt good about what they saw. Tress felt good. He's in line to play as of right now, but we know, they get on this flight. He wakes up tomorrow and he feels extremely sore. Doesn't feel the same way that he felt Wednesday because he finally actually kicked the ball. And then all of a sudden, you may need Mitch Wisnowski, which is why they signed him to the practice squad. So, Mitch Wisnowski is on the practice squad, and we'll see if they need him or not. I loved a lot of what DQ said today. One of the things he said about, it's a Thursday night game. The schedules are all out of whack. Everything's kind of just disjointed. He said, embrace the chaos. That's what this week is all about. It's a short week. You're not as healthy as you would have been if this were a Sunday game. Your schedule is all off. The things that you normally do to get your body ready, you haven't been able to do it, or you had to fast track everything. Everything's kind of out of whack. You're out of your normal comfort zone. Embrace the chaos. You know what it is. You knew you had a Thursday night game in week 2. Embrace the chaos. I love it. It's a great message no, you don't love playing on a Thursday, but you know what? You got to do it. So don't pout about it. Don't bitch about it. Don't complain about it. Be about it, right? Embrace it. Know that it's here. It's on the schedule, and you got a chance to make a statement on Thursday night against the Green Bay Packers. He talked about Austin Eckler's usage, and I think it was Ben Standing that asked him about, the way they use him, when they use him. Is it strategically done? And he's like, yeah, early in the season, he said, not so much as it is later in the season when you're trying to preserve guys, especially the veterans like an Austin Eckler. But he's like, early in the season, we're trying to establish roles, who fits in where. But he's like, when Eck does some of the things that you see him do on the field, i.e. the 2nd and 15 catch late in the game that kind of helped us get that final touchdown from Deebo Samuel to put the game away. He's like, those are the type of plays that he's capable of. You want him on the field because he can bring that kind of energy and playmaking ability to the field. And so you want to be strategic as to when you put Eck in the game. Yep, you want him out there as much as possible, but you also got to understand that you don't want to overexpose him, and you want him out there when you're in those crucial moments, when you're in the 2 minute before the half, when you're in the late drives at the end of the game and winning time, because he affects the game in that manner. So talked about Eckler and his usage, and he said that's something that they are mindful of. He talked about, and this is my favorite. This is probably my favorite, line from DQ or answer from him all week long. Instilling the mentality of they got to play us, and he said we're not there yet. He said, but he talked about this. Remember, he introduced this concept of, because everybody wants to talk about how good Green Bay is, and that's great. Like, we're not here to kiss anybody's ass. Those days are over. I told you guys this already. I respect every opponent, even the ones that we feel like are beneath us that we should destroy. I respect every opponent. You're not going to hear me, say that we're going to blow somebody out here very often, unless they're just absolutely horrible and there's no way we should lose to this team. You're not going to hear me say that. Even I knew the Giants weren't going to be good this season. I predicted them to be 3-14. I talked to Bad Dog before the game. I was on the NFC East Super Friends, and I told him, you guys are going to suck this year. You guys can't score. And I still didn't disrespect them with my final score. I still told you it was going to be a close game. Why? Because I respect the opponent. I respect the game. That should be it. But what the Packers eat don't make me shit. I'm not worried about what the Packers doing this and doing that. This is what I worry about. If we take care of what we can control, right? Control the controllables. If we do what we're supposed to do. And I always tell y'all this. I've been telling y'all this for years. If we take care of our business, everything else will take care of itself. And at the point that we're at now, with the roster that we can put on the field, teams got to deal with us now. Gone are the days of us, worrying and having our brains, overloaded with, oh my God, this team is so good, man. This guy can hurt us. That guy can do this and that guy can do that, man. What if this guy does this? What if this guy goes off for XYZ amount of yards? Oh, that's all cool and fine and dandy. When we played the Bengals last year, Jamar Chase shitted all over us. He had a field day. Joe Burrow was struggling up until that game. Joe Burrow threw for well over 300 yards. Jamar Chase had well over 100 yards. He had 2 touchdowns. They did what they wanted to do, and they still lost. It still wasn't enough. You know why? Because they got to come see us too. They got to play us too. We got some shit cooking and brewing over here too. We got some dogs. We got some stars. We got one of them ones over here too. So you know what? They got to play us too. And that's the mentality. That's the mantra. Hey, they got to come see us too. Yeah, Kansas City's on the schedule. They got to play us too. Yeah, Detroit's on the schedule. They got to play us too. Yeah, the Chargers on the schedule. They got to play us too, et cetera, et cetera. So I love that mentality of, hey, Green Bay's great. I love Michael Parsons. Jordan Love's a stud. I love Josh Jacobs. He's a dog at the running back position. Xavier McKinney's a problem at safety. We can keep listing all the really good players that they have, but guess what? We got really good players over here too. They get down and they get busy and they get active as well. And if we're at our best and you're at our best and you're at your best, I think our best is better than yours, frankly. And it's not many teams in the league that I feel like when they're at their best and we're at our best isn't better than theirs. There's a few now. Don't get it twisted. I'm not saying we're the best team in the league. That's not what I'm saying. But there aren't many teams I'm taking over us in a game if both teams are playing at their best. There are not many teams I'm taking over us because we got one of them ones. That changes everything, right? So he said, we're not there yet. We don't have the they got to play us mentality locked in just yet. He said we're building to that. It's early, right? It's a new team. You can't go off of what we did last year. We got to focus on building that with this team this year, instilling that mindset of, hey, yeah, they nice and all, but so are we. And they got to come see us. They got to play us. A game like this, Thursday Night Football, under the lights, at Lambeau, this goes a long way in instilling in these players that, hey, they got to come see us. They got to play us too. I love it. And then he talked about the red zone defense. And he talked about how important it is to get those stops. He's like, look, let's face it. You're not going to get stops in the red zone all the time. We know this, right? We all know that. Like, I was shocked. I ain't going to hold you. I was shocked the first time we got the stop, because when we got the initial stop, I was elated, because last year when the Giants got down there, they got in the end zone, right? Malik Neighbors got in the end zone. Wan'Dale Robinson, like, they're going to get in the end zone. Somebody's going to score. But when we got the stop, I was like, oh, shit, look at that. Then we had the hands to the face penalty with Dietrich Wise to give them new life. And I was like, oh, they definitely scoring now. And they still didn't score. That's when I was like, that was different. Okay. And by the time they got down there the second time, I was like, we could hold them out. But in my mind, I still was suffering from a little PTSD. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to keep it a bean. I was still suffering from a little PTSD because I said that was the test to the defense. This was your first test of the season. I wanted to see if you were going to pass. Offense just put the game away, essentially. Can you do the same? Can you say the same? Offense just put it out of reach. They put it on the top shelf. Are you going to move it down to the middle shelf and allow the Giants to have hope? Or are you going to keep the shit on the top shelf where they can't reach? And they got the stop, and they said, no, it's staying up on the top shelf where they can't get it. And so that's cool, but you got to understand, Green Bay ain't having that shit. They get down there, they're going to punch that bitch in, right? More likely than not. Hey, until they do it, let me say something. I don't know if you've heard this come out of my mouth before. But as of right now, the Washington Commanders are the only team in the league to have not surrendered a touchdown on the season or given up double-digit points. Okay? If I'm not mistaken, the Titans did not score a touchdown against the Broncos, but they did kick 4 field goals. So let me say this again. The Commanders right now are the only team to have not surrendered a touchdown this season and haven't given up double-digit points. Now, also, Commanders have the number 1, would you look at that, scoring defense in the NFL right now, having only given up 6 points. No one else gave up less points in week 1 than the Washington Commanders. That's going to change in week 2 against the Green Bay Packers, okay? Our defense is good. I don't think it's that good where they're going to hold the Green Bay Packers down the way they did the New York Giants. That said, if they can find ways to get stops in the red zone, we weren't a great red zone defense last year. That was not one of our strengths. If we can be better in the red zone, and I've said this to you guys a ton over the years, right? The best red zone offenses are the ones that can run the football into the end zone. It is so hard to throw the ball into the end zone consistently in the red zone because everything is condensed. The field has shrunk, and there's actually a back line that serves as another defender. It is tough to throw the football in that green area in the red zone. If you can run it, it changes everything, right? Same could be said for red zone defense. If you can stop the run, you then enhance your chances of getting stops. Why? Because of what I just said. It's hard to throw it into the end zone, right? A lot of bodies, tighter windows. You don't want to make a mistake. So you don't want to put it in harm's way. So, it's a lot tougher to fit the football in. It's got to be perfect throw. It's got to be on time. One little mistake, a batted ball in the air, someone gets their hand on the football, it can be picked off. So it's tough down there because you got a chance to get points just by kicking a field goal. You don't want to do anything reckless if you're a quarterback. So that's always in the back of your mind. If you can stop the run and force teams to have to throw it in the end zone, you give yourself the best chance to get stops in the red zone. That's why we were able to stop the Giants. We stopped them so bad on the ground in the game that they just gave up down by the goal line. Like they had the one run to Cam Scatterbo. And then they just said, to hell with it. That was a loss on that play. And they just said, well, they're kicking our ass up front in the run game. Let's just stop trying to do that down here. Let's just try to throw it. And that didn't work. The Packers aren't going to stop trying to give the ball to Josh Jacobs. So understand it's going to be a little bit different. But to see us stop the Giants and to see that our red zone defense has a chance to be exponentially better than it was last year is a massive sign for this team, that this team defensively could be so much better this year. Again, you don't want to run wild with a lot of the things that happened in week one because of the opponent that we were playing. We're going to get a better sense of, who we are and what we're capable of against Green Bay. And again, you don't want to go too wild one way or the other after this Green Bay game either, but you'll have a better sense. It's all about collecting data. All right. It's a very small sample size with this defense. You get more of a sample size after the game against Green Bay, and you'll feel either better or worse about both the offense and the defense and even special teams. We still haven't seen Matt Gay kick a field goal yet. We don't even know if we can trust this guy or not, right? There's still a lot of unknowns with this team. But the red zone defense, that's a plus. Even the Cincinnati preseason game, right? Even the Cincinnati preseason game, they had to go for it on fourth down. I don't think this red zone defense is a fluke that we saw against the Giants. I actually think this group is going to be really smart. You heard Joe Witt Jr. talk about this leading up to the opener, that the communication has been exceptional this year with the defense. I can see that. I can see, and where you see it show up the most is in the red zone. That's when you see it show up the most. And we got smart players too. Can't wait to watch the film with you guys. And I hope you guys watched the Mike Sainristil mic'd up. That's out. That came out today. That was good. And I hope you guys also watched the Deebo Samuel, Terry McLaurin Bleacher Report podcast. So I don't know if you guys knew this or not, but Deebo, I think I had this conversation with y'all because we talked about getting Deebo last year, and I was like, I hope he don't bring that podcast shit over here. Me being an old curmudgeon, old man, get off my lawn. Like, I don't want none of my players doing no podcasts. And so Deebo did a podcast last year with the 49ers during the season. And I was like, yeah, he can keep that shit. I don't need that shit on this team. We focused on the game. But he did his first episode for Bleacher Report. And he had Terry on the show with him. And it's about 25 minutes long. If you haven't had a chance to check it out, you should check it out. It was really good. And I only bring it up because when you look at this team and how they're wired and how this team is built mentally, a show that Deebo does that's 30, 40 minutes long, it was right after practice, you could tell. Knock that out, have them do whatever they need to do with it to get it up, on Bleacher Report, on YouTube, etc. It's not going to hurt anything. Again, that's just me in my mind. Last year we needed no distractions. We were in the process of trying to build this shit up from the ground. We're now past that point. You can start to have different things going on as background noise because we can now handle it. We're in a position where we can be better off to handle that. But ultimately, I look at this team, I look at the way it's built and the mentality of this team, and I think we got some really good, smart football players. And the Mikey mic'd up, there's a play, right? It's a Malik Neighbors wheel route up the sideline, and he's actually open. They're playing levels. I talked to y'all about different coverages and what you do as defensive backs and things like that when we watch film together. Shout out to the mob. Y'all know what it is. And I talked about the levels concept where you got defenders on different levels so they don't run into each other, right? It makes sense. You see guys run into each other all the time. Noah Igbenogany ran into Marshawn Lattimore on the wheel route to Wan'Dale Robinson up the sideline on the drive where the Giants were trying to get some points at the end of the game. That's why you play the levels concept, so you don't run into each other. But anyway, Mikey was playing off, and Malik Neighbors was being guarded by Marshawn Lattimore, and they ran the wheel route. Lattimore kind of got slightly picked by the Giant receiver. Mikey was playing so far off, he was so heady that he saw his receiver was really not interested in running a route, but more so looking to pick off Marshawn. So he just goes over the top as if he's a safety of the Malik Neighbors route, and he's in great position. And I was saying, if that ball was inbounds, it's a pick. But I wonder if Russ saw him, and as he was letting it go, he realized Mikey was over the top, and so he threw it out of bounds, basically, because that ball wasn't even close. Had Mikey not been there, I don't know if Russ would have just dropped it in the box and it might have been a 67-yard touchdown, or if he just was, inaccurate with that football and it was going to be out of bounds regardless. I think he saw Mikey go over the top. He was not supposed to be there, but again, that's just heady, smart football, right? We'll talk about that play tonight when we watch the film. Shout out to the mob. We are going to watch film after this stream is over. So anyway, I digress. That was DQ's presser. The red zone defense, I said all that to say this. The red zone defense, I think, is going to be vastly improved because we got smart football players. I think Will Harris is a smart football player. Marshawn Lattimore is a smart football player. We saw that a couple of times in the red zone. Mikey, definitely a smart football player. I think Trey Amos is a really smart football player, heady as well. And then we just more physical up front. You're not just going to run the football, like it was automatic last year. If you wanted to run the ball in, you could run it in against this defense. It was automatic. I think we're going to have one of those Tampa Bay, Philadelphia Eagle type defensive lines where if you're trying to run the ball in, it ain't happening up the middle. You're going to have to try that shit somewhere else. Like, it's so hard to get the ball in against these stout fronts in the NFL. I think we're about to be one of those guys or one of those teams. We'll see. Anyway, I digress. Let's get to behind enemy lines. So both teams are 1-0 coming into this game. It's a massive game. Both teams are coming off of wins within the division, home victories against divisional foes. The Packers against the Detroit Lions, obviously the Commanders against the New York Giants. Big game. I've talked about it already numerous times about what the ramifications can be for down the line in terms of seeding, home field advantage, etc. The difference between the 2 seed and the 3 seed could be this game right here. Both teams could end up 12-5 this season with the second best record in the NFC as a whole. But the winner of this game owns the tiebreaker and thus is the 2 seed. And if these two teams were to lock horns in the playoffs, that's just going to determine who's at home in that ball game, right? This is a big game because of what it could mean, right? Not to mention it's an NFC opponent. Like, forget about number 1, number 2, number 3 seed. What if you're fighting for your life to make the playoffs? You need as many NFC victories as possible. And if it boils down to record against common opponents, you need to beat a team like Green Bay if other teams have them on the schedule. So there's so many different reasons why you want to win this game, but ultimately, we're out for respect. This is about respect. People think the Packers are better than us. So this is an opportunity to go get it, all right? So when I think about the Packers and what I think about this game, I do want to share this with you guys. This is this was a quote from Josh Jacobs. I've been kind of saying this a little bit as well myself, right? This is my mindset. This is sort of my mindset here, right? He says, I told the receivers, take it personal. They were basically saying if they stopped me, then they would win the game. So the wideouts all came out ready, close quote. He's talking about Detroit. And I'm going to be honest with you. I feel the exact same way. And they're going to have to prove me wrong. They really are. Because in my mind, if you stop, to me, Josh Jacobs is the head of the snake. Jordan Love is a beast at the quarterback position, but everything starts with the success of the run game for Green Bay. If they can't get Josh Jacobs going, and then the onus and the pressure to produce falls on the shoulders of Jordan Love, that's when he starts to press. He has what we call Superman complex, right? Superhero complex, rather, excuse me. He suffers from superhero complex or hero complex, where he feels the need to be the guy that saves the day, the knight in shining armor. When the offense is struggling and they can't get it going, I'm going to find a way to fit this football in a tight space, or I'm gonna make this impossible throw possible because I'm Jordan Love. That's when he gets into trouble. He almost got into trouble against Detroit. He almost threw a pick six to Brian Branch, except there was a penalty on the play. I think there were multiple penalties on the play that called it back. But had that not happened, Detroit would have been right back in the game. Why? Because Jordan Love was trying to do too damn much. You know why he was trying to do too much? Because Josh Jacobs really was not effective in this game. I said this already. Detroit did a really good job up front of slowing down Josh Jacobs. You could tell he was the focal point. For me, he's going to be the focal point again, because I look at Jordan Love and I say, you're going to give us an opportunity to take one or two away if we can just slow down Josh Jacobs. He'll be the key. If we can't slow down 8, then their offense is damn near unstoppable, because when they're balanced, when they're running it, they're going play action fake. The tight ends are running free over the middle of the football field because you got to suck up and respect Josh Jacobs in the run game. They're going to have a field day. Love's going to the tight ends. These receivers don't scare anyone, which is why he made the statement he made, which is why I feel the way that I feel. These receivers don't scare anybody. I'm not worried about Dontavian Wicks. I'm not afraid of – I like Jaden Reed, don't get me wrong, but I'm not afraid of Jaden Reed. He's a good football player, don't get me wrong. I'm not afraid, though. Not when I look at my corners and the way they match up with those dudes. I feel like we should be able to lock all their receivers down. You know, Romeo Dobbs, all of those dudes should be clamps on them. Go ahead, get the seatbelt, buckle them boys in, man. Tell them it's going to be a long ride, buckle up, right? But Josh Jacobs is the key. He gets going, and all of a sudden, that play action fake, all of a sudden now that safety got to come down. Now Jaden Reed is open. Now Dontavian Wicks is open. Now he's got options. Tucker Kraft is now open. Now all of a sudden we're looking around and we're saying, damn, why are all of these guys running free? Because you aren't in the type of defense that you would have been if you were stopping the run, you know, consistently throughout the evening. So I think it's going to be imperative that we slow down Josh Jacobs. That's going to lead to a Jordan Love interception or two, or at least the opportunity. You know, we don't like nice things normally, but it's going to lead to at least the opportunity for a Jordan Love, you know, mistake. So I'm looking forward to seeing if we can stop the run the way that we did, because I expect us to stop the run. I'm a little more bullish on stopping the run than everyone else. When we were talking about this yesterday on the Super Friends, on the Commanders Kings, I was the only one that felt confident that the run defense was going to be legit. Like, I asked everybody, what's one thing you feel like you can count on moving forward? And everybody was, you know, named something else. But when I brought up run defense, they was like, yeah, I'm not ready to lock in on that yet. I don't think I got to see it first against Green Bay. And I don't blame them for that. But I just think the run defense looks legit. And so I want to see this run defense go out there and do what I think they're capable of doing. I thought Detroit did a really good job at stopping the run against Green Bay in week 1. Here's what I thought they struggled at. They didn't get any pressure on Jordan Love. He was pretty much comfortable the entire afternoon. If we're going to make Jordan Love uncomfortable, we got to stop the run, and then we got to pressure him. If he's got time back there, he can be surgical with the football. Like, let's make no mistake about this. Jordan Love, I think, is the second best quarterback in the conference. You give him time, he can be surgical with the football. So we are going to have to make him uncomfortable, get him off of his spot, and force him to throw one of these off balance, YOLO balls that we'll have a chance to pick off, because he'll throw some crazy shit. But if he's comfortable back there, it could be a long afternoon. Something else that really, really has me nervous are those tight ends. Their tight ends, I think that's a massive matchup for us in this game, because I haven't seen, like, this is, to me, a warm-up for what we're going to see next week if he's healthy. Now, he left the game. He probably is going to be fine, but Brock Bowers next week against the Raiders, problem, right? Problem, big problem. The week after that, Kyle Pitts, he was a problem last year when we saw him. Problem. Like, we're revving up the engine a little bit here with Green Bay. They have tight ends that can be a problem, and Love is really in sync with his tight ends. We have to stop the tight ends in this game. I think I'm more concerned with the tight ends than I am the receivers at this point. You saw him throw a touchdown pass to the tight end, in the first possession of the game last week against Detroit. He loves hitting the tight ends. He trusts his tight ends. They win a lot of times. Here's something else we can't do. We can't turn the football over. Green Bay is a very opportunistic team. They force turnovers. That's something they do quite well, actually. Right? But Xavier McKinney, we talked about this. For the first 7-8 weeks last year, he had to pick every game, it felt like. He was tied for the lead in interceptions last year. He was outstanding. They had a pick this past week. I don't remember the guy's name, but that was a hell of a play. He read Jared Goff's eyes, and he dove in front of that thing and took it away. They're opportunistic. And when they force turnovers, they turn them into points. That's what the good teams in the league do. They take the football away, and they make you pay. It's one thing to take it away. That's cool. What are you going to do with it? They deposit that into points. So we can't make mistakes in this game and expect to get away with it. And again, we learned this lesson the hard way last year. You can't expect to beat good teams while turning the football over, especially on the road. You are likely and liable to get your brains bashed in if you want to go turn it over against a good quality football team in their building. We're going to have to take care of the football, something that I don't normally worry about. But this defense for Green Bay, they play fast, they play physical, they fly around, and they can take it away. So I am a little bit more conscious of that in going into this game. But as I've said before, you protect 5. There's no way Green Bay can cover Terry, Debo, Noah Brown, Jalen Lane, and Zach Ertz on the same play. There's no way. They don't have an answer. And again, this ain't Jared Goff from last week where, they don't have to worry about the run game with our quarterback. You want to key in on Terry. You want to key in on Debo. Jaden can take off for 15 yards. Jaden can take off for 8 yards. He's a weapon onto himself. That adds another wrinkle and element to the equation. So I love this matchup for us because I think we match up well with the Green Bay Packers. I really do. I think we match up extremely well with the Green Bay Packers. The things that they do well, I don't think they do them well enough to the point where it hurts us. But the things we're able to do well, I think fits right into that category of this could be problematic for them. Again, we got to protect Jaden. This is one of those games where we upgraded the offensive line for games like this. And we're going to have to know where Micah Parsons is every time he enters the game. We're going to have to chip, and we're going to have to double team him. Laramie will hold down Rashawn Gary or whoever's rushing off that other side, right? We shouldn't have any Lucas Van Ness or Rashawn Gary issues in this game. That shouldn't be a problem. Micah Parsons is the guy that can wreak havoc because they're going to move him around. Obviously, they saw the tape from last week with Brian Burns. They're not going to put him anywhere but right over the rookie right tackle, Josh Connolly Jr., and say, go hunt, young fella. And so we're going to have to chip, double team, do the things that we have to do to make sure that number one doesn't wreck the game. We do that, I can't see them covering our receivers. I can't see them covering Zach Ertz. I can't see them covering Austin Eckler out of the backfield. And again, I think they were really good against the run. I thought they did a phenomenal job of stopping the Lions' run game. But again, the Lions' run game ain't our run game because they didn't have to worry about Jared Goff keeping the football and him being a part of the run game. That's something else you got to think about. They don't see this in their division, right? They don't see read option. The Bears aren't running read option. The Vikings don't run read option. I mean, they might now with J.J. McCarthy, but they don't do it as often, right? And the Lions most certainly aren't doing that. So they don't have to worry about this. They don't see this very often. And they don't see our tempo very often. That's another advantage, Commanders. Our tempo is crazy. They don't see this often. They don't know the kind of speed we play at. I think we have a lot of advantages going into this game, but we have to take advantage of the things that we know we're good at, and we got to take care of the football. Even if we don't produce a turnover in the game, which I hope we do, and I think the key to unlocking a turnover, it starts with stopping Josh Jacobs. But even if we don't create a turnover in this game, if we don't turn it over, I like our chances a hell of a lot. A hell of a lot. So we're going to get a word from our sponsor. I want to give a huge shout out to Sleeper for sponsoring this stream. We'll come back on the other side and we will get to the comment section. All right, so let's get to social media maneuvers tonight. I'm a midnight marauder. Shout out to everybody out there. Let's see. Oh, my bad. Let me do that again. Sleeper. Sleeper is the best way to experience and connect over sports together. It's a one-stop shop for all of your sports needs. You can celebrate and chat in the games in real time with other users, get the fastest scores, blazing fast news and alerts right at your fingertips. Play in fantasy leagues and win real money on picks contests. So enjoy sports the way they were meant to, together. Download the #1 sports app today. Predict the hottest football stats like passing yards, receiving yards, touchdowns, interceptions, and much more to cash in on your daily fantasy football skills. Use promo code LTN and Sleeper will match your first deposit up to $100. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today. Sleeper. All right. Really appreciate y'all for letting me know that the audio wasn't there. I messed around and played it from the wrong place, which is why you guys couldn't hear it. And that's important that you do hear it. So appreciate y'all for letting me know. And I also appreciate Sleeper for sponsoring this stream. So quick shout out to all of the members of Patreon that support the Louie T Network. You guys are the pulse and heartbeat, along with the MOBB of this whole thing. And I got some things in store for all of you who support on Patreon, man. You guys do so much. And y'all have been holding the kid down for a very long time. Most of you have. So I'm a definitely look out for y'all in the very near future. So y'all keep rocking with the kid. And I got you. I'm going to take care of y'all, man. I really, truly do appreciate all of the names that you see scrolling across the bottom of this stream. So with that said, let's get to the comment section so I can get you guys out of here. Really, truly do appreciate each and every single one of you. So we start the night off with Mr. Pink. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for the super chat. My guy, Mr. Pink, writes, please say a prayer for my friend Charlie Kirk's wife, Erica, and their children. He was a friend to all Americans and beloved here in Phoenix, Arizona. You never want to see anyone lose their life in that manner. That's crazy. You know what I mean? And so it's an evil world we live in. I just know that. I'll say that. Fresh Montana. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Fresh Montana. Salute, bruh. I really believe our defense is going to show week 1 wasn't a fluke. Terry and Debo going to shake out. Bill is going to Bill, and JD5 is going to show everyone again like week 3 last year. I really believe that this defense is going to kind of be validated tomorrow night. I agree with you on that. First of all, salute to you, Fresh Montana. I do think the defense is going to be validated tonight because it's easy to dismiss what they did against the Giants as, hey, they were just playing the Giants. Anybody that decides to do that, I'm not mad at you for that. Because you do have to take everything with a grain of salt because the Giants stink. But it didn't matter who we were playing last year, i.e. the Giants, for instance. They were able to move the ball and score on us. Now, I made reference to the fact that last year, when we played really bad offenses, i.e. Tennessee and Cleveland and Carolina, teams like that, we beat them up pretty good and held them down. So it's not like we weren't able to do that against bad offenses. This is going to be a true test. And if they go out and they play really well, they don't have to do what they did against the Giants. That's not sustainable. But if they look like a real NFL defense, do you know what that does for this team? Because we know what the offense is. We know what this offense is. If the defense is matching the offense's energy, even a little bit, do you understand what that does to the prospects of what this team ultimately can be? Do you understand how much that raises the ceiling on what this team can be and accomplish? Yeah. I mean, and then throw in the fact that we might actually have a legitimate running back now. I don't know if you guys had a chance to watch the Debo and Terry Bleacher Report podcast, Debo's podcast on Bleacher Report. It's Cleats and something. I forget what it's called. But they talked about Bill. And they talked about Jaden. And they talked about, you know, what makes, you know, this team, this offense in particular, special. And why they can be so dangerous. And we've seen it in 1 week. Even with all the mistakes, we saw glimpses of why this defense, or offense, excuse me, has a chance to be exactly what it was last year, but even more lethal this year. I think they're going to show up and show out. I think this is a big game. People are counting them out of this game. This isn't like last year, week 3, where we were looking to make a statement. We were trying to, establish ourselves and get ourselves on the map. I think it was either Rio or Rico who said that last night when I asked them, did you expect us to come out aggressive in this game, go for it on 4th down? Do you think DQ is going to feel the need to have to score? And it was like, nah, we was trying to establish ourselves last year. Like, we didn't have nothing to lose last year. And that was facts. Like, we went in there knowing these boys are going to score points. We ain't got nothing to lose. Don't nobody expect us to win this game. Let's go out here and make a statement. We don't have to do that this time around. And our defense can actually get stops now too. So you don't have to be as aggressive if you feel like your defense is capable of. If I pin a team at their own 6-yard line, if your defense is good, you're going to get the ball back with great field position. You don't have to go for it on 4th down every time anymore. Last year, it was almost out of necessity. We had to go for it because what good was it going to do us to punt the ball if our defense was just going to surrender a 93-yard drive, or at a bare minimum, give up 2 or 3 first downs, allow them to reflip the field position and then punt us back the ball. And now we're starting at our own 16-yard line. What difference does it make? So it's a little bit different now. I really think they're going to ball out in this game, though. Kerry Williamson, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Kerry Williamson writes, love that the big names on our team talk about Jesus Christ. Love me some 5 and Terry. Continue to be bold and shower the good news. A lot of guys on our team. If you watch the Mikey mic'd up, he talked about how much he loves God and thanking God, and that's a big thing in sports, and especially in NFL locker rooms. You see guys praying after games all the time. Like, it's a big deal. Like, that's a big part of, an NFL locker room is religion. You'd be surprised at how big it is, honestly. Otaku Slime, stand up. You are the newest member of the MOBB mob. You know what to do. Show Otaku Slime some love. Welcome him with open arms. Welcome to the squad. Otaku Slime, glad to have you on board. Looking forward to chopping it up with you. Smacky, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, this game will show if we have enough firepower to a firepower against a loaded Packers wide receiver room. But the Packers cornerbacks are mid. It will be a shootout. I think the Packers, I wouldn't call their wide receiver room loaded. I'd say it's deep. They have a bunch of guys that can throw at you. I'd feel totally different about them if Christian Watson were healthy, which he is not. Once he comes back, it's a vastly different room. Golden starts to, really get his feet wet and settled in, coupled with Christian Watson and then Jaden Reed. Yeah, all of a sudden it looks totally different in Green Bay. Right now, I don't feel that way about their room. It'll be loaded when Christian Watson gets back, if he can stay healthy, and then Golden starts to really play at a high level. Then you can make, a statement like, hey, that's a loaded Green Bay Packers wide receiver room. Right now, I don't feel that that's the case. I just think it's a solid room right now. I mean, no one's afraid of Dontavian Wicks or even Romeo Doubs. Like, those guys are cool. They don't move the needle for me, though. Their corners, look, their corners aren't great, but they play so well up front and they have solid safeties that they can kind of mask the fact that their corners aren't great. If you're getting pressure, if you feel duress, it doesn't matter if the corners are great or not. If they're solid at their job and the safeties are able to do theirs as well, you can get away with some stuff. But I just like where we are in this game from a standpoint of our receivers versus their corners and vice versa. Our corners against their receivers. I like that matchup in our favor, right? So advantage Commanders, I think, in that situation. When you talk about wide receivers and corners, advantage Commanders. I don't think it's going to be a shootout. I think you're underestimating our defense's ability to get stops. Last year, yeah, this would have been a shootout. This year, I think we can hold our own defensively. I think we can hold them down enough to where, now I'm not telling you we're about to go light up the scoreboard either, but I think we can hold them down enough to where this doesn't turn into a 33-30 type of ball game, a 31-28 type ball game, a 34-30, 34-31 type game. But like it did week 3 last year against Cincinnati, where it was 38-33, if I'm not mistaken. Like, I think we can do enough to avoid it from being one of those type of contests. Thomas Arrington, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, "Sup, CCT? My keys in this game, in this huge game, offense, Connolly versus Parsons, defense, turnovers, gotta get them in this game. I will be making a defensive touchdown SPG bet this week. Hashtag I believe." You're a bold man, Thomas. You are a bold man indeed. Good luck to you for that. But I do think Connolly versus Parsons is something to keep an eye on, but I don't expect them to leave Connolly Jr. on an island by himself with Michael Parsons unless they are going to get rid of the ball quickly, i.e. a wide receiver screen or something of that ilk, right? A slant or something where they know the ball is coming out and they don't have to chip, because by the time he gets to Jaden, it'll be too late. The ball's going to be long gone. But if they have any aspirations of dropping back 3-step, 5-step, whatever it looks like, and Jaden has to have time for routes to develop down the field, there is no way they're going to leave Josh Connolly Jr. on Michael Parsons by himself. I just don't see them doing that. That to me feels like pure negligence on their part. And I just don't see them doing that. I do want to see us create a turnover in this game. I think we can. Just because Jordan Love, and again, I go back to what I said at the beginning, you're going to have to stop the run, because if you do not stop the run, I don't see them turning the ball over. But you're going to have to stop the run in order to force Jordan Love into feeling like he's got to make something happen. He's got to create a spark. And that's when he'll take some risks that he probably shouldn't and put the ball in a position where we can have a chance to take it away. So I do see an opportunity presenting itself. Can we take advantage is the question, I guess. IC Wayne, thank you for being a member for 18 months. Right. Louie, you still doing the film breakdowns? Yep. Right after this stream tonight, I'm going straight to the film breakdown of the Giants game. Art by Rapid, been a member for 13 months. Who writes, "We ain't scared of no pack. Hope all is well." To my dog, Louie T, man. Hope all is well for you as well, Art by Rapid. Really appreciate you, Rapid. I respect the hell out of the Packers. Respect the hell out of them, but I ain't afraid of them. We not scary. No way. Kevin, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, my guy. And one of my resident Green Bay Packer fans, Kevin. It's nice to talk to you. He said, "GL, Lou, good luck to you as well. I'm riding with my cheeseheads at Lambeau," as you should. As you should. I wouldn't expect it to be any other way. I wouldn't expect you to think any other way. You should believe your Packers are going to win at home. Always good to talk to you, Cap. We'll be talking quite a bit this season. I know that for a fact. Sophia, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Or thank you for being the newest member of the MOBB. Stand up. Sophia, you are the newest member of the MOBB mob. You know what to do. Show Sophia some love. Welcome her with open arms. Welcome to the squad. Sophia, glad to have you on board. Terry Colmer, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you, Terry. Angus the Great, stand up. You are now the newest member of the MOBB mob. You know what to do. Show Angus the Great some love. Welcome, Angus, to the MOBB. Looking forward to chopping it up with you, whether that's tonight, watching film, or in the future, or just, coming in. We watch the games together. If that's something you're interested in as a member of the mob, you now have access to that. Looking forward to chopping it up with you. Welcome to the squad, Angus the Great. Tristan Belcher, you stand up. You are now the newest member of the MOBB. So glad to have you on board. Mob, you know what to do. Show Tristan some love. Welcome him with open arms. Let him know what it feels like to be a member of the greatest squad in all the land, the MOBB. Welcome to the squad, Tristan Belcher. Brendan McCloskey, thank you for being a member for 48 months. Yes, sirski. 4-year anniversary for Brendan McCloskey, who writes, let's get this win. Are you going to be doing the All 22 this season? Of course. That's a part of the mob package. That's a staple of what we do. Of course. You damn right I am. We're going to be looking at that film right after that. I'm going to load up the film. I'm going to throw the stream up, and we're going to get active tonight. Again, if you're not able to watch live with me, cool. It'll be there tomorrow. No fret. You got to wake up, go to work tomorrow. It's all good. It's all love. Anyway, I digress. That is the last comment. So that is going to do it for me, your man, Louie T, here on Commanders Nightly News Live. Looking forward to tomorrow, where I will give my keys to victory. This will be an earlier episode in the day tomorrow. Keys to victory. Scoring more. You guys, leave it down in the comment section as well, what you think is going to transpire in this game. And then obviously we're going to come back later on tomorrow night and break it all down. Win, lose, or draw, we're going to be here on the Louie T Network. I got to go over, do my Bleacher Report thing first. So give me about 25 minutes or so to go knock that out. Then I'm coming straight to you, and we are going to get to the bottom of this, hopefully, victory. But nonetheless, whatever it is, we're going to get to it, and we're going to talk about it. So real quick, VGK0803, stand up. You are the newest member of the MOBB. Glad to have you on board. You know what it is. Mob, show him some love. Also, while you're at it, bring Doug H along. You stand up. You are the newest member of the MOBB. So glad to have you on board. Mob, open your arms wide. We got 2 more new members tonight. VGK0803 and Doug H, welcome to the squad. Glad to have you on board. So, with that said, I will see all of you mob members tonight. The rest of you, I'll see you guys tomorrow. We got a lot to discuss. Let me ask you real quick. Should I normally, the first one, I open it up to everyone. Should I open this one up to everyone, or do you just want this to be a mob affair? I think I ask you guys this every year, because I'm going to let you guys decide how y'all want to do it. Okay. Yeah, I said open the first one up. That I will do. All right. So this is my last question to y'all. Do you want everybody to have the ability to comment, or you just want mob members to be able to comment? Everybody can watch, but only mob members can comment. You want everybody to comment, or you want just mob members to be able to comment? Y'all tell me how y'all want to rock, and that's how we'll do it. I'm a man of the people. Okay. All right. So I'll open it up to everybody, but I'll only let the mob speak. I see enough comments from people. You don't want randos showing up talking crazy. I got you. I'll take care of it. So that we will do. You spoke. I heard you loud and clear. I'll get right to it. Alex L., stand up. You are the newest member of the MOBB mob. You know what to do. Show Alex L. some love. Welcome him with open arms. Welcome to the squad, Alex L. Really, truly do appreciate you. Also, one more time, big shout out to Sleeper for sponsoring the stream. Sleeper is a fantasy sports and real money gaming app that focuses on bringing people together through sports and gaming. And boy, have they ever this year for me. I've had so much fun, whether it's been with the Commanders Kings, or it's just been through my own enjoyment with the app. It is so much fun. And I've been talking to so many more people about these picks than I would have been talking to people. Because of these picks, it has helped me establish more relationships with some of the viewers. We've had different conversations that didn't exist prior to this app. So it is doing exactly what it said it was going to do. And as an awesome byproduct, you can still win money with real picks. I love this app. I've told you guys this over and over again. It's not available in every state, obviously. Check to see if it's available in your state, but it's available in 25 states. So if you have access to it, please, by all means, do yourself a favor. Download the app. The link is in the description of this video. Click that link. It'll take you to where you can download the app. Use my promo code LTN to get you 100% match on $100 up to $100 deposit. So if you deposit $100, they're going to match your $100 deposit with $100 of their money for you to be able to spend as well. So you can't beat that. Sleeper is where it's at. Turn every day into payday. That's going to do it for me, your man Louie T, here on Commanders Nightly News. I look forward to chopping it up with you guys next time. Until then, I'm your man Louie T, signing off. You guys take care. Peace.